In a world that rushes us from one moment to the next, where do we find spaces to simply be? This question lingered with me long after I left the judo mats of my childhood and the griddle of a university lunch counter. It's a question about more than just physical places. It's about the sanctuaries where we can pause, reflect, and feel seen. Let me take you on a journey through lost spaces, where the distance between flying and frying is shorter than you'd think, and where the true essence of comfort lies not in what we eat, but in where we sit. At 10 years old, my father sent me to a youth club at the bottom of the hill behind our London home to learn judo. The dojo master, Tom, was a man of contrasts, wiry yet compact, his eyes shadowed with deep bags, his thin mane sprinkled with salt. Beside him, a younger instructor, an orange belt to Tom's black, led the classes. I'll never forget Tom's wry observation as they sparred. "This is it, youth versus smarts." With a swift grip on the young man's lapel, Tom sent him flying across the mat. I, too, spent my fair share of time airborne, but it was the solace of the Wimpy Bar that I clung to. At night, when my family had long finished dinner, I'd slip away to this haven. It wasn't fancy, just a burger and chips sizzling on the griddle, a sundae with its grooved swirls of ice cream, and a banana split drizzled with chocolate. The chef, in his tight white jacket, worked the griddle with precision. Wimpy was my safe space, a place where I didn't have to be anyone but myself. But here's where it gets controversial. Decades later, I found myself on the other side of the counter, hired as a kosher supervisor for a university lunch bar. My job? To prevent the very dietary combinations, meat and milk, that I'd cherished as a child. My parents weren't religious, so the laws of kosher cuisine were foreign to me then. But as I moved through more observant circles and later as a rabbi, I learned the intricacies of these laws. The core principle is simple yet profound. Do not cook a kid in its mother's milk. From this verse, repeated 3 times in the Pentateuch, rabbis derive a complex system of dietary restrictions. It's not just about food, it's about boundaries, discipline, and identity. Is it restrictive? Absolutely. But is it meaningful? That's a question worth exploring. My role at the lunch counter evolved unexpectedly. After the non-Jewish cook injured her ankle, the manager, a wiry student named Kobe, asked if I could step in. 2 hours into my first day, Kobe realized he could save costs by hiring just one person, a cook supervisor. The original cook, a single mother, never returned. I often wonder about her, about the Christmas presents she'd planned for her son, about the life she was building. It's a reminder that every decision, no matter how small, ripples outward. The burgers I made for the students were simple. Beef mince, not too lean, finely chopped onions, salt, pepper, an egg yolk, and breadcrumbs. But the secret was the chili pepper, chopped so fine it was invisible, adding a subtle kick to each bite. The students couldn't pinpoint why they loved my burgers, but I think it was because they told the truth. A little heat, a little comfort, a little reminder that life isn't always smooth. And this is the part most people miss. Food isn't just fuel. It's a language, a way of saying, I see you. When Kobe left, the university proposed a full-time kosher cafe. But the plan fizzled, replaced by an offer to sell frozen meals from Manchester. The students weren't interested. Why pay more for something they could buy themselves? It wasn't about the food, it was about the space. People don't eat at McDonald's for the food. They sit on tilted benches designed to keep them moving, to prevent them from getting too comfortable. It's a transaction, not a sanctuary. Later, working in a lead suburb, I noticed the same pattern. Cafes that sold coffee but wouldn't allow outside food, benches on the street where you couldn't linger. I'd eat my sandwich in the graveyard, the only place where I wasn't pressured to buy something. What Wimpy and those tiny kosher businesses offered wasn't just food, it was space. Space to breathe, to think, to be. Today, the only daily kosher spot in Leeds is a bakery near a synagogue. What sets it apart isn't the food, but the picnic tables outside. They started as temporary booths for a festival, but became permanent fixtures. These tables aren't about selling more coffee. They're about connection. They're where 2 Jewish grandmothers can sit, share kosher food, and swap stories about their grandchildren. They're where people can pause, in a world that rarely lets them. When my son finishes his jujitsu classes, he eats his snacks standing at a bus stop. He doesn't want to talk there, and I get it. You need a place to sit, a place between home and everywhere else, to truly hear yourself. After being thrown around the judo mat, I needed a space where I wasn't rushed, where I could just be. Life throws us all curveballs. Without a place to land, how can we process anything beyond the next bite? So, I ask you, where are your sanctuaries? Are they disappearing? And if so, what are we losing along the way? Let's talk. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.